On News Hour tonight. Saraki to chair PDP Reconciliation Committee ahead of NEC meeting. JAM orders review of 2025 UTME after outrage complaints. Bandits attack Plateau community, abduct 5 residents. And on the foreign scene, Burkina Faso military accused of killing over 100 civilians in massacre. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. We begin with political matters. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has set up a committee headed by a former Senate President, Bukola Saraki, to reconcile aggrieved members ahead of its National Executive Committee meeting. This was disclosed at the end of a meeting held at the Abuja Lodge of the chairman of the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum and Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Muhammad, on Sunday night. The meeting also had the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, in attendance. He, however, did not speak to journalists. The PDP Acting National Chairman, Umar Damagum, a former Caretaker Committee Chairman, Ahmed Makarfi, and some other members of the party's National Working Committee, as well as some past and present governors, attended the meeting. Briefing journalists, the Bauchi governor said the meeting was convened ahead of the party's scheduled NEC, which has been slated for the end of May.
Some of the manifestations in a democratic setup like this that we have, and this is what is forcing us to come together, rather than diminishing us and making and weakening us, is making us stronger. We will make sure at least those chapters where we have history, where we have structure, are not left alone. They will be able to produce next governors of the PDP by the grace of God, because we will be providing the level playing field in the next convention that is coming up. Some existential issues, of course, that have been around in the media, within us, so that we'll be able to navigate smoothly the NEC that is scheduled to take place on the 27th of this month, and by August we will have an early convention. So many issues and francos have been made, and it is an opportunity to close rank and to make sure that at least there is no ill feelings, there are no qualms, there are no misgivings between the leaders of the party.
Former Senate President and Chairman of the People's Democratic Party's Board of Trustees, Adolphus Wabara, has inducted former governors Samuel Autumn of Benue State, Ifeanyi Ugwanyi of Enugu State, and 37 others into the party's Board of Trustees. During the inauguration on Monday in Abuja, Wabara called on the new members to help steer the PDP toward renewed success and significance, asserting that the party remains much alive. Others inaugurated into the board to serve for 3 years include former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekaro, former National Vice Chairman of the party in the Southwest, Eddie Olafeso, former Edo State Governor Lucky Ibenidion, and former Niger State Governor Babangida Aliyu.
We will rely on your advices, we rely on your guidance. We want to assure you of every necessary support that the party needs to provide for the smooth running of the BOT office. We will also expect a commensurate response from the BOT in supporting us to refocus and redirect the affairs of the party to what is supposed to be.
See that is passing here. You are living witness to all the governors that we had issues with returning to be members of BOT. It speaks volume. That's the sign of the moment. We are going to return to greater heights. You can trust.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has insisted the People's Democratic Party, PDP, cannot give its presidential ticket to the North ahead of the 2027 election. Wike stated this during a media chat on Monday. His comments appeared to be directed to PDP's presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar.
when he sent president to where? Did they can't send president to the north? No. The point is selfishness can kill a system. Take for example, if Mr. President runs, for example, and wins, for example, 2027, by 2031, APC will send their presidential ticket to where? To the north. PDP will do what then? Then you come back again and say, no, since APC have gone to the north, let's keep it in the north. I mean, what kind of smartness is that?
Oh, yeah,
so many discussions were had, private and public. We are waiting to see what was agreed will be implemented. We are waiting. If it's not implemented, I will not agree. If it's not.
Meanwhile, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has revealed details of the conversation when his estranged political godson, Siminalayi Fubara, came to beg for reconciliation. Wike had confirmed that the suspended governor visited him to plead for peace alongside two governors from the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. According to the minister, the governor cannot be making moves for peace while his supporters are doing otherwise.
He came with two governors and one other person. Unfortunately, the two governors are APC governors, unfortunately. So I will not pursue him. And he said, he wants peace. Fine. I told him, I said, look, I don't think you have the capacity to really make this peace because it's not easy. And that's why when I read what I read yesterday, I felt so bad. I said, well, why? If we are making peace, there are people are demonstrating every day. If they are making peace, there are people are busy on television insulting people. How do you feel in that case? No, that's what I'm saying now. That's the point I'm making. At least you have not tried to take a step to say, look, I'm not a party to all the things that you are doing. Do you understand me? But that's not enough to say you have really, you must take steps. Have you made assembly people? There are leaders you should meet. I don't know what I understand. It's not to say, I want this. Yes, you must show by conduct and by action.
Still talking politics, tension is rising within the ruling All Progressives Congress APC in Lagos State following the controversial primary elections held on Saturday, May 10, 2025. Party members and delegates from Etiosa local government and Olorunda Local Council Development Area LCDA on the Badagry stormed the APC secretariat in Ikeja on Monday, protesting what they called electoral injustice. The report.
Chanting solidarity songs and carrying placards, the protesters accused party leaders of manipulating the primaries in favor of preferred candidates. They demanded transparency, accountability, and immediate restoration of what they described as a stolen mandate. The aggrieved members proceeded to submit their petition as stipulated by party electoral guidelines. However, due to the tense atmosphere, the committee in charge of election disputes was unable to sit. Protesters were told to leave their petition with assurances that the matter would be addressed. But speaking with Trust TV, a party agent expressed doubts about the leadership's commitment to restoring the crisis properly.
We went in. We were told that if the aspirants want to stand as agents, they should all come in. If it is agents he wants to use, they should come. But it's only one agent, which they did. But at the end of the day, we now discover that other local governments are coming in with the chairman and agents. So in our own case, it is not certain. They are just using only the delegates, and we went there to cast our vote. We just went out like that, waiting for results to come out.
We have equal rights. During the election, we know what we do. We are the people that mobilize people to come and vote. During the last election in Etiosa, I know what happened to me. I fractured my finger. It took me about 6 months. They tore my cloth. And at the end of the day, you tell me that, okay, this time around, I don't have any right. someone will be in his house. He will now maybe ask his daughter or son to come from abroad. The next thing you hear is that they will put his name. And at the end of the day, then where's the justice? Where's the equity? Where's the fairness?
Similarly, delegates from Alorunda LCDA in Badagry echoed these concerns. They claimed their preferred candidate, who reportedly secured 18 out of 25 delegate votes, was sidelined in favor of an unknown figure imposed by higher authorities. Alhaji Belewu, one of the protesting delegates, condemned the selection of the candidate who only recently defeated to the APC.
They are using our vote to count Badagry. We have the most voters. So I was so surprised. This man, we don't know him. Let me just tell the elders to bring the LGA book. If they can find his name there. He doesn't go to ward meeting. He doesn't come to LGA meeting. We are so surprised. He just came back after the tinubu election from PDP. And they are telling us he's the one. What we want now is we want our mandate. We want Ade Balogun.
Out of 25, 18 delegates vote for one person, and someone else is now announced as the winner. Nobody to do with that. Nobody to do with that. That is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And I want you to know that we, the party members of Olorunda, we will never come out again to vote, even in 2027, if this mandate is not given back to the rightful owner.
As the protest simmers, these aggrieved APC members are demanding justice, fairness, and true inclusion in the party's decision-making process. Whether their demonstration will compel party leaders to review the disputed primary remains uncertain.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, has said that changes to the Electoral Act will be made before the 2027 general elections. Yakubu also dismissed rumors that he had been removed from office, saying he is still in charge of the electoral body. He made this comment on Monday while speaking with journalists at the presidential villa in Abuja at the swearing-in of 2 new INEC national commissioners by President Tinubu. Yakubu said INEC and other stakeholders have reviewed the 2023 general elections and made 142 recommendations. He said out of these, 8 need changes to the Constitution or the Electoral Act. The 2 newly sworn-in INEC commissioners are Malam Tukur Abdurazak Yusuf from the Northwest and Professor Sunday Nwambam Aja from Ebonyi State in the Southeast. Tinubu also swore in 2 commissioners for the Code of Conduct Bureau, Ikpeme Kenneth Ndem from Cross River State, and retired Justice Buba Ibrahim Inyari from Taraba State.
No, this one, I don't think we need to waste time so much about these unnecessary speculations. As far as the law is concerned, and as far as I'm aware, I remain the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and under the Constitution, the Chief Electoral Commissioner of the Federation, and under the Electoral Act, the returning officer for the presidential election. I have been interfacing with the National Assembly. 2 weeks ago, we had a retreat in Lagos with the Joint Committee of the Senate and House of Representatives on electoral reform. Thereafter, the National Assembly is going to organize a public hearing, and it's after the public hearing that now a new bill will at the end of the day be submitted to the President for assent. So we're working with the National Assembly on electoral reform. But at this point, I'm not going to give you any more details. You will hear it from the National Assembly whose responsibility it is.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, has ordered an immediate review of the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, following a wave of public complaints alleging technical glitches, incomplete questions, and unusually low scores. The board, in a statement issued by its public communication advisor, Fabian Benjamin, acknowledged what it described as an unusual volume of complaints since the release of the UTME results last Friday. It said the developments had prompted it to fast-track its annual post-examination review process, which typically takes place months after the exercise. The spokesperson explained that the annual review covers 3 stages of the UTME cycle: registration, examination, and result release. He added that if any faults are found in the system, JAM would not hesitate to implement appropriate remedial measures. Now, the Federal Executive Council on Monday adopted a procurement strategy that will lower the cost of drugs and give Nigerians wider access to essential quality medicines. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare Ali Plateau revealed this to newsmen at State House Abuja after a meeting of the council. Kehinde Amodu reports.
Countries, including the United States, are placing executive orders to reduce the cost of pharmaceuticals to enable their citizens get access to quality healthcare. The Nigerian government has been eloquent about its intentions to apply different methods to reduce the cost. In recognition, the Nigerian government has been eloquent in its intentions to apply different methods to reduce the cost of medicines, in recognition of the fact that Nigerians are hurting because of the rising cost of pharmaceuticals. The presidential initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain, an executive order to back it, signed by President Bola Tinubu in June 2024, provides incentives for local manufacturing by taking away tax for the import of raw materials. But this new initiative, Christian Medipool, takes off in a completely different direction.
Today, Federal Executive Council approved Medipool. It's a group purchasing organization for competitive pricing and to be a supplier of essential medicine and healthcare products across Nigeria that are funded through the federal government's intervention, the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, but also potentially outside that through federal tertiary hospitals, so that as a buyer, we can negotiate lower prices.
Meanwhile, the cabinet also approved the award of the 2.3 billion naira contract for the procurement and installation of a cardiac categorization machine by the Usman Danfodio University Teaching Hospital in Sokoto.
It will save lives, but also contribute towards reversing outbound medical tourism, because Nigerians can be able to access services which hitherto they were not able to. And that is an important step, one more among several other interventions that federal government has been supporting to strengthen the federal teaching hospitals, to train and to provide quality service as part of the transformation of our health sector under the leadership of His Excellency Mr. President.
Also on Wednesday, the cabinet approved a group life insurance scheme, taking out a life policy on each public servant. Monday's approval endorsed the appointment of 17 insurance underwriters for the group life insurance cover for the year 2025 and 2026.
And this means that if the unfortunate incident of death occurs, the deceased public servant's next of kin stands to have a benefit to help the family, cushion the family at that time of loss.
The group life insurance scheme covers key government officials, including the president and vice president. The scheme also covers the prime military agencies, as well as extra ministerial departments and agencies. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
A group of bandits have attacked Dogonruwa community in the Bashar district of Wasi local government area of Plateau State, abducting 5 residents from a market. According to local sources, the bandits burgled shops and business centers, carting away huge quantities of food items and medicines during the attack. Reports say the market, which attracts hundreds of visitors from neighboring communities, sells food items including flour, rice, beans, drinks and other supplies. Shafi'i Sambo, a youth leader in Wasi, said the bandits arrived around 11 a.m. on motorcycles and started shooting when residents and visitors were transacting businesses in the market, forcing people to flee the market and their homes. The youth leader added that security personnel, including soldiers and vigilantes, had been mobilized to trail the bandits to their hideouts. A spokesperson for Operation Safe Haven, Major Samson Zakom, was yet to release a statement on the incident at the time of filing this report. Now joining us via phone is Ado Musa to give us an update on the incident. Good evening, Ado, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
All right, what more do we know about this attack?
Well, at the moment, the residents of the area are still fleeing the community. because I spoke to one of the eyewitnesses who confirmed to me that because of the gunshot that the residents of the community have been hearing close to the community, so people continue to flee to other neighboring communities for fear of the unknown. So at the moment, people are still fleeing the community.
All right. So has the security operatives, issued an official statement regarding the attack?
Well, up to this moment, the security agencies have yet to issue any statement with regard to development, because I inquired from the spokesperson of Operation Safe Haven, Major Samson Zakam, who has yet to respond to my inquiry. So up to this moment, the security agencies are yet to respond. I also asked some of the residents regarding the deployment of security after the incident, who also confirmed to me that they are yet to see security in the area. But they confirmed to me that an hour after the attack, they also saw operatives of DSS who arrived the community to assess the situation. But according to them, a moment later, the operatives now left the community.
All right, thank you so much, Ado, for joining us and for giving us that update. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. FCT residents react to Meta's exit threat amidst data breach fine. This and many more when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. In case you just joined in, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Saraki to chair PDP Reconciliation Committee ahead of NEC meeting. And JAM orders review of 2025 UTME after outrage and complaints. Moving on to more stories, the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday adjourned till Tuesday, May 13th, for the definite hearing of the contempt claims made against the suspended senator representing Kogi Central, Senate Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Justice Binta Inyako fixed the date following a submission by the second and third defendant, who informed the court that they had filed an application drawing attention to the plaintiff's alleged contempt. On the resumed sitting on Monday, the court was informed that despite the order against social media posts, the plaintiff had published a satirical post on her Facebook page. The said post was said to have mocked the court and violated its order, urging the court to hold her in contempt. Akpabio's counsel, Ejembi, supported the submission, stating that the plaintiff's Facebook post undermined the court authority. In response, the plaintiff's counsel maintained that the Facebook post was related to the sexual harassment allegation and not the issue before the court. Justice Inyako, however, insisted that the contempt issue must be addressed first. Now, a federal high court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, has ordered the interim forfeiture of the sum of 31 million naira and 4 properties allegedly acquired by Obiajulu Emmanuel through proceeds of unlawful activities. According to a statement by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Monday, the ruling was delivered by Justice Alexander Owoeye on May 8, 2025, following an ex parte motion brought before the court by the Lagos Zonal Directorate 1 of the EFCC. The application was filed and moved by the Commission's counsel, CC Okezie. In her submission, Okezie told the court that the EFCC application was supported by an 8-paragraph affidavit deposed to by Yusuf Hassan, an investigating officer with the commission. She said the funds and properties were reasonably suspected to have been acquired from criminal activities. Justice Owoeye, after reviewing the documents and supporting evidence, granted the interim forfeiture as requested by the EFCC. Last year, 3 Nigerian regulatory agencies imposed fines totaling over $290 million, which is equivalent to 218 billion naira on US-based tech giant Meta for violating various laws and regulations. The penalties followed investigations that revealed unauthorized data sharing, discriminatory practices, and abuse of market dominance. Meta recently lost its legal challenge at the Federal High Court in Abuja and in response threatened to exit the Nigerian market. Against this backdrop, Trust TV's Noel Sampson spoke with residents of the Federal Capital Territory to gauge their reactions and with a tech expert to explore the importance of the fine. The report.
Residents across the city expressed disappointment upon hearing of Meta's threats to leave Nigeria, citing the platform significance in their daily lives and business operations.
A lot of Nigerians, I believe up to 60% of Nigerians are entrepreneurs. And one thing with entrepreneurship and this thing is that we sell mostly online. Like I sell online. Facebook marketing is a big part of it, where you do ads and other stuff. Now, apart from that, even our social life, WhatsApp and every other thing, them leaving Nigeria will be a massive catastrophe. It will be bad.
The Instagram and WhatsApp it helping easy communication from one person to another, and also in the WhatsApp communication you can reach a very large numbers of people at a particular time, and with that it will save a lot of money and it will save time. So leaving Nigeria is going to have a lot of negative effect on the economy.
So leaving us now will really affect us, because not only in Nigeria, international, if you're in Nigeria, you can sell your things outside the country through Facebook. So I don't think it's a good idea.
Meanwhile, tech expert and app developer Japheth Johnson backed the fine, emphasizing that Meta must be held accountable for violating national laws.
These top companies are selling our data without. So when I was talking with a friend, I think 2 days ago, and we're talking of the same issue, and he was saying they are fining them $290 million or so. And I was like, that's cheap. That's cheap. We're having over 30, let's say over 150 million Nigerians on the internet. And you're saying you're fining Meta 250. That's a small amount of money, right? So, but the issue is, imagine what the data are being used for. Imagine the amount Nigeria is losing when it comes to data breaches. 250 million is nothing compared to it. Imagine how much Meta is making by selling Nigeria's data to OpenAI and other companies, other marketing agencies, how much they make from it. So I think we should find a way to have laws that actually make, that brings about synergy, and also help our local software providers to also build something, so that when these people are not there tomorrow, we can have something to fall back on.
Johnson also discussed the potential impact of losing platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, and whether there are valuable alternatives available to Nigerians.
So I would not want to say we cannot survive, because survival is actually a natural instinct of every man. So when it comes to Nigerian business surviving, if Meta leaves or not, I think it's not a question of if they leave, but do we have sustainable solutions that can be an alternative to it? Yes, Nigerian companies will actually survive because they have been surviving before Meta. So the question is, what are we going to fall back to? The truth is, there are alternatives. But I always ask my friends when we discuss, when we are building, I ask them, okay, most of the alternatives we are talking we have, where are they being hosted? Are they hosted in Nigeria? Are the servers in Nigeria? You can own some, you can have something, but you don't really own it. Okay, most of the solutions we have in the country might not even be hosted in the country. So some of the developers are not even in the country. So alternatives are there, but we have to look at, do we have infrastructures that actually house these alternatives?
He noted that data regulation by national authorities is vital for protecting individual privacy, safeguarding domestic processes, and preventing data misuse. Without proper oversight, tech platforms could exploit user data in ways that are harmful to both individuals and society. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has urged the executive arm of government to act swiftly on laws and resolutions passed by the National Assembly. The call came at the inaugural National Policy Dialogue on the Legislative Agenda held in Abuja. The report.
At a high-level gathering in the capital, top lawmakers, policy experts and members of the executive arm came together to assess the impact of legislative interventions on national development. Speaker Tajuddin noted that the House has conducted extensive oversight on executive actions, particularly around economic reforms and national security, but warned that without implementation, even the most robust legislation falls flat.
In the past 2 years, the House has engaged in robust oversight of the executive branch, holding ministries, departments, and agencies accountable to foster accountability and transparency in governance.
Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu informed the gathering that over 1,059 bills have been introduced since the 10th Assembly began, a reflection of what he calls an ambitious and responsive legislative agenda.
The House has considered over 1,059 bills spanning every facet of national life, from constitutional amendments to sector-specific reforms in education, in health, and security, as well as the economy.
Chairman of the House Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation, Cyril Hart Godwin, stressed the need for stakeholder participation in shaping and tracking the House's 8-point legislative agenda,
as it heralds a new era of purposeful alignment with global parliamentary best practices benchmarked by the key indicators of strategic focus, measurable impact, and parliamentary audit.
Also speaking, Chairman of the Conference of State Legislatures, Adebo Ogundoyin, highlighted security concerns, calling for smarter, intelligence-driven approaches, including the recruitment of unemployed graduates into national security agencies.
As legislators, we must enact laws and support proactive, intelligence-driven security measures, strengthen the capacity of our security agencies, and promote community-based policing.
Labour Minister Mohammed Megeri Dingeri called on the House to expedite action on key labour bills, arguing that Nigerian workers stand to benefit directly from legislative support.
These bills include Labour Standard Bill, Collective Labour Relations Bill, Occupational Safety and Health Bill, Labour Institutions Bill, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund Act 2010, to align with the Employers' Compensation Act.
The event also drew goodwill messages from key national figures and civil society leaders, including former Speaker Yakubu Dogara and PLOC Executive Director Clement Wanko, all echoing a common theme: effective governance begins with accountability and collaboration.
But the challenge has always been the implementation. Whether you're talking about allocation of resources and then intervention from some other arms of government.
The opportunity of presenting to citizens what the People's House has done is so very important for all of us. The National Policy Dialogue on Legislative Agenda is the first time this is happening. And I think it sets a benchmark, but also sets future direction for citizens to ask the question.
The dialogue marks a significant moment for Nigeria's democratic process, with both lawmakers and citizens watching to see if words will indeed translate into action.
Now, members of the Jasawa Community Development Association, JCDA, have been urged to continue fostering peace and unity, key ingredients for progress and sustainable development in any society. The call was made on Sunday during the JCDA's annual Merit Award ceremony held at the Jos Central Mosque Conference Hall. Ado Musa reports.
During the ceremony, dignitaries emphasized the importance of collective progress while presenting awards to 5 distinguished sons of the community. The awardees include former Deputy Speaker of House of Representatives, Idris Wase, Sheikh Khalid Aliyu, Secretary General of Jama'atu Nasrul Islam, Salihu Dalladi Umar, Hassan Sallau, and Murtala Muhammad Laushi. The speakers noted that the significance of the event extended beyond honoring a few individuals, as it served as a rallying point to encourage unity, development, and empowerment within Jasawa community.
One of the fundamental problems that we must address is the issue of unity. We must unite ourselves. We must unite ourselves irrespective of our religious belief, irrespective of our tribe, irrespective of which part of just our geographical location you come from. We must, in so doing, have sense of equity, fairness, and justice. It is the only way to move forward.
I urge you to continue to build bonds of unity, love, and tolerance. This should not only happen within the Jasa community, but across our communities in the state at large. Remember, Plateau is a mini Nigeria with over 52 ethnic groups, different rich cultures and traditions, as well as varying religious persuasion. Time has come for us to leverage on our strength, which is anchored on our diversity. We must shun all divisive tendencies that are exploited by politicians, ethnic champions, religious bigots, and crisis marshals.
In his remarks, the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the JCDA, Hassan Hussaini, applauded the honorees for their tireless and patriotic contributions to the community's development.
Today, we celebrate 5 distinguished individuals whose contributions transcends philanthropy. They have built hospitals where sickness once reigned. They have dug boreholes where thirst persisted and funded scholarship where future hangs in doubt.
The well-attended event, graced by sons and daughters of the community, also featured a call to the JCDA leadership to consistently seek guidance and wisdom for the continued progress of the Jessa community. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, there has been a significant rise in the rate of undernutrition, particularly stunting in Adamawa State, increasing from 39.7% to 48.6%, and highlighting the urgent need for effective intervention. In light of this growing concern, the Adamawa State government, in partnership with UNICEF, is developing a comprehensive roadmap to enhance the implementation of nutrition policies. This initiative will be bolstered by legislative support to ensure lasting change. Gibson Sawadugo reports.
The 2024 report reveals that the nutritional status of children under 5 in Adamawa State has declined over the past 5 years. In 2018, 39.7% of children in this age group were stunted, 4.2% wasted, and 19.1% underweight. Alarmingly, these figures have worsened to 48.6%, 7.0%, and 32.5% as at 2023 to 2024. In response to this pressing issue, the Adamawa State government, alongside the State's Planning Commission, with the support of UNICEF, is hosting a 2-day workshop focused on legislative action and commitment to food nutrition policy and financing. This workshop aims to foster collaboration and drive effective policy implementation. Mary Paninga, the chairman of the Adamawa State Planning Commission, emphasized Governor Fintry's commitment to implementing nutrition-driven policies that will benefit the state's children.
It's about 42% of every child in Adamawa State does not have access to nutritional values and even what we call these preventive components of it. We really have to stand on that because Adamawa State is part of the northeast region that has been devastated by all these insurgency issues. And this goes down to show up in the malnutrition component of it. All of us know this area, this region. So that is why the governor finds it very, very critical and important to see that malnutrition is tackled in Adamawa State.
Dr. Nuzat Rafiq of UNICEF commended Adamawa State government for its dedication to improving the well-being of children and preventing malnutrition. She acknowledged UNICEF's significant investment in the partnership and the promotion of healthier lifestyles in the region.
UNICEF is not only contributing towards supplies but also working on ground with the communities for the healthy and well-nourished children, which is changing the practices.
The State House Majority Leader, Kate Mamuno, speaking on behalf of the State Assembly, reaffirmed their commitment to providing legislative support for policies designed to enhance lives of children in Adamawa.
We'll make sure that these policies are taken into due consideration so that our children or our people in Adamawa State will have the benefits of this nutrition program.
The workshop successfully gathered legislators and key stakeholders from food nutrition sector, fostering a collaborative environment aimed at creating meaningful solutions to combat malnutrition and promote healthier futures for the children of Adamawa. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
The Jigawa State Government has unveiled a Science, Technical and Vocational Skill Acquisition Center, the first of its kind in northern Nigeria, as part of efforts to advance youth empowerment and skill development. Our correspondent reports that the center, situated in Gariki local government area, is designed to train young people in vital technical and vocational skills critical for regional and national development. The report.
Jigawa State has committed over 5 billion naira to the construction and equipping of the center, while an additional 700 million naira has been allocated for workshops, student hostels, and other infrastructure, further solidifying its ambition to create a premier institution for practical learning and innovation. Education stakeholders have hailed the initiative as a game changer, noting that more than 200 students have already enrolled, signaling a strong beginning for what it is expected to be a transformative educational project.
This is what the federal government is heading to. And although Jigawa, we are ahead of the federal government, but we hope that we will work together with the federal government to ensure that we have given proper technical and vocational education. We are establishing 8 centers in Jigawa State. In addition to the 8 centers, we are also establishing a senior college that will absorb the product of these 8 schools.
At the end of this 6th year, hopefully the graduate of that school will come out not just to seek for a job, but to also be employers of labor, because they have been trained in skills that they can be able to practice and ensure that really they are not only productive to themselves, but also productive to the country.
After commissioning the center, Governor Umar Namadi led his team to the weekly government and citizens engagement program, a transparency-driven platform designed to connect leadership with grassroots voices. This week's session took place in Gariki local government area, where residents acknowledged the governor's impactful project over the past 2 years. Various ethnic groups and associations in the area showed their appreciation through symbolic gifts presented to the governor.
This is really a paradigm shift. This is showing that the people are happy with what we are doing as a government, and we are always ready. This has also helped to strengthen our effort to ensure that we will do more for our people.
From strategic educational investment to proactive community involvement, observers say Jigawa's leadership is setting a new standard for both governance and educational reforms.
And now in business, the federal government has begun moves to initiate sweeping reforms to revitalize the nation's electricity distribution sector, starting with a pilot overhaul of 2 underperforming distribution companies. The move follows a comprehensive assessment of systemic challenges plaguing the discos, including governance gaps, infrastructure deficits, and commercial inefficiencies. The Power Minister Adebayo Adelabu disclosed the plan after a meeting with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, which presented a roadmap titled Revamping of the Distribution Sector in Nigeria. The pilot scheme, slated to commence between May and August 2025, will target 1 disco in the north and another in the south. Recall that the minister has repeatedly expressed concerns about the lack of investment in the distribution network by electricity distribution companies. He has specifically pointed out that this lack of investment is hindering progress towards achieving the government's goals, particularly regarding customer migration to higher tariff bands. The World Bank says Nigeria's economy recorded its fastest growth in about a decade in 2024, driven by a strong fourth quarter and an improved fiscal position. During a presentation on Monday, the bank's lead economist for Nigeria, Alex Sianieth, said Nigeria's economy grew by 4.6% year-on-year in the fourth quarter of 2024. Quoting high-frequency business indicators, he said the economy continued to expand in early 2025. He, however, warned that persistently high inflation remains a challenge. A development comes after bold economic reforms by President Bola Tinubu's administration, such as the removal of petrol subsidies, slashing electricity allowances, and devaluation of the naira currency, have added to upward pressure on prices. Oil prices rocketed more than 3% on Monday after China and the United States agreed to suspend sweeping mutual tariffs. Brent climbed plus 2.44 or 3.82% to $66.35 at 12:45 p.m. West African time on hopes that a pullback in tensions will support the global economy and boost demand for the commodity. West Texas Intermediate jumped 3.6% to $63.24. The United States and China agreed to drastically reduce their tit-for-tat tariffs for a 90-day period in a joint statement after 2 days of trade talks in Geneva. Away from Nigeria, at least 100 civilians were killed by Burkina Faso government forces in March near the western town of Solenzo, Human Rights Watch said Monday. According to victim testimony and videos shared on social media gathered by the rights group, the attackers were Burkina Faso special forces and members of a pro-government militia, the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland. The victims were all ethnic Fulani, a pastoralist community that is widespread across the region, which the government has long accused of supporting Muslim militants. An earlier report from Human Rights Watch stated that the government's involvement was likely because of video evidence on social media, although the findings were not definite. The government issued a sharp denial when first reports surfaced, saying in a statement it condemned the propagation on social media of images inducing hate and community violence and fake information aimed at undermining social cohesion in the country. Ivory Coast's main opposition leader, who had been barred from standing in an October presidential vote, on Monday said he was resigning as party leader but would still lead the fight to win the election. 6 months before voters choose a new head of state, political tensions are running high in the West African country, where several opposition figures have been declared ineligible to stand. For months, Tijani Thiam's campaign for the presidency has been mired in tussles over his nationality. A court in Abidjan struck him off the electoral list last month, saying the 62-year-old politician had lost Ivorian nationality when he acquired French citizenship in 1987. Thiam, who has not been in Ivory Coast for more than a month, also faces a legal case against his election as head of the Democratic Party of Ivory Coast, PDCI. That case was brought by a party member who also contests Thiam's Ivorian nationality at the time he was chosen. Presidential candidates are not allowed to hold dual citizenship. Thiam was born in Ivory Coast and renounced his French passport in March to enable his run for the top job. The UK government has announced an end to overseas recruitment for social care visas as part of immigration policies unveiled by the Prime Minister Keir Starmer in a white paper to help Britain strengthen control of its borders and reduce migration. It said the measures would reshape Britain's immigration system towards those who contribute most to economic growth with higher skill standards for graduates and workers. It explained that new requirements on employers to boost domestic training would end the reliance on international recruitment, restoring order to a failed system that saw net migration quadruple between 2019 and 2023.
And everyone knows what it meant on immigration, or at least that's what people thought. Because what followed from the previous government, starting with the people who used that slogan, was the complete opposite. Between 2019 and 2023, even as they were going round our country, telling people with a straight face that they would get immigration down, net migration quadrupled until in 2023 it reached nearly 1 million. That's about the population of Birmingham, our second largest city. That's not control, it's chaos. And look, they must answer for themselves. But I don't think that you can do something like that by accident. It was a choice made even as they told you, told the country, they were doing the opposite. A one-nation experiment in open borders, conducted on a country that voted for control. Well, no more. Today, this Labour government is shutting down the lab. The experiment is over. We will deliver what you've asked for time and again, and we will take back control of our borders.
It's now time for Sport Update with Kabir Lawal.
Nigeria's Flying Eagles are through to the semi-finals of the CAF Under-20 African Cup of Nations Egypt 2025 and have clinched a place at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup following a dramatic 3-1 penalty shootout victory over reigning championship Senegal at the Suez Canal Stadium. The fiercely contested quarter-final finished 0-0 after 120 minutes of intense football, with both sides showing flashes of attacking brilliance, but ultimately unable to break the deadlock in regulation or extra time. It was Nigerians' composure and sharp execution from the penalty spot that proved decisive spot kicks from previous Benjamin, Emmanuel Chukwu, and Israel Ayuma were confidently dispatched, while goalkeeper Ebenezer Akot made a crucial save and watched another effort bounce off the crossbar. Senegal's only conversation came from Seydi Douak, while Pierre Donoval was denied. Mama Mosfea's effort was saved. Ousmane Conte's strike rattled with Woodlock. The result not only sends Nigeria into semi-finals, but also confirms their return to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, their first qualification since 2019, and 15th appearance overall, extending their record as one of Africa's most decorated youth teams. Still on sport news, Nigeria has been confirmed as the host nation of the 2025 WAFU B Under-17 Championship, scheduled to take place in September 2025. The announcement was made by Nigerian Football Federation NFF President Ibrahim Gusau during a courtesy visit to Ogun State Governor Dakwa Abiodun. Two venues in Ogun State will host the tournament: the MKO Sports Complex in Abeokuta, which has recently undergone renovation, and the Remo Star Stadium in Ikene. The regional youth tournament will feature Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Niger Republic, Togo, Benin, Ghana, and host nation Nigeria. Crucially, the competition will double as qualify for the 2025 Under-17 Cup of Nations, with the top performing teams securing spots at the continental tournament. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
On a sad note, the Zazzau Emirate Council has announced the passing away of an elder statesman and traditional title holder Alhaji Ramalan Yeru, the Turaikin Dawakin Zazzau. The Media and Publicity Secretary of the Council, Abdullahi Aliyu, disclosed this in Zaria on Monday. He said the deceased, who died after a protracted illness on Monday, is a biological father of the former governor of Kaduna State, Mukhtar Ramalan Yeru. The 85-year-old deceased is survived by 3 wives, 23 children, and many grandchildren. He has been buried according to Islamic rites. And with that, we wrap up News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. Goodbye.